This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be hearing new music from Pugwash. Play This Intimately, As If Among Friends.
And the latest album by Lianne La Havas, entitled Blood.
Hello everybody and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And my name is TJR and I'm a musician and a music writer.
Now, I may be a musician, but I'm not half the musician of Thomas Walsh, who heads the band Pugwash. This is one of my favorite new bands. They're based in Dublin. They've been around since I think '99, but their American audiences, and we're in America right now, only discovered the band for the most part in 2014 when Omnivore Recordings put out this great, it's kind of like a collection. I guess it takes some of the band's best tracks from their first 4 albums or something, put them on this great collection, and I'll have to read it, A Rose in a Garden of Weeds. And this, if this had been a new studio album, would have been my favorite album of 2014. I just love this album. Well, now the band is coming out with a studio album that is going to be available here in America beginning on September 4th, 2015. And this is called Play This Intimately, As If Among Friends. And again, I'm sold on this band. I just love what they do. I mean, if you're a fan of the Beatles and ELO and the Kinks, and I'd even say maybe bands like Blur and stuff, they just have a sense of melody and harmonies and stuff. It's just wonderful. You know, just love these guys. So before we talk a little bit more about them, why don't we play the first song off their new album. This is called Kicking and Screaming.
Okay, let's go kicking and screaming all the way.
Okay.
All right. And I immediately like that song. I do hear all the influences you're talking about, Beatles, you know, ELO, but I also hear Foo Fighters too.
And I hear Smithereens in that song a little bit too.
Yeah, that too. But then again, Foo Fighters, Smithereens were definitely influenced by Beatles, ELO,
the Kinks,
all those bands, definitely. I mean, among their own, they have their own influences too, but among them you can count them. Yeah.
And it's neat that the strain of music has continued, and they're so good at it. You know, like I said, and just because we're saying that they're influenced by these other bands is not to say that they're not terrific. Pugwash is terrific. This quintet definitely is amazing. They write their own songs in terms of like they have something to say in their songs, and the lyrics are great. The melodies are original. All that stuff. They're just a great band. I mean, I've heard many power pop bands over the years.
You're a big fan of that genre.
I'm a
more so
fan
than
of the
me.
genre. But a lot of times I'll say, you know, this is tuneful, it's nice and stuff, but there's something more to Pugwash. It's like the Smithereens too. Smithereens used to say they combined AC/DC and the Beatles and kind of fused that. Like I said, they're fusing some of these other bands here, but they make it their own. The Sonic Brew definitely is original and it's tasty. You know, it definitely works for me. And in the CD itself, again, Omnivore Recordings has done a great job. It comes in this beautiful digipack, just really cool artwork, you know, on the cover and stuff. You can see that, and then inside it's kind of neat too. And then it comes with this beautiful booklet, just fully colorfully illustrated. The lyrics are handwritten, a little difficult to read, but you know they work. And here you can see Thomas and Jeff Lynne from ELO, which is very cool. A picture of them together. But then where it has the song titles and who wrote them and stuff, that is typed here at the back, and you can read that. But it's a really nice booklet and a great package.
Jeff Lynne is pictured in there. Now, did he collaborate?
Yeah. Actually, Jeff Lynne is one of many illustrious guests they have. Jeff Lynne, I think he does a quick shout out in a little bit of the song we just heard. And then elsewhere in another one of the tracks, Andrew Partridge from XTC, and also Ray Davies is on there too. And I think there's some other guests along the way too. So and all that information is in the booklet too. But like I said, I've been listening to the CD. I've had it for about 4 or 5 days. And I've played it a slew of times. I mean, it's definitely, you know, been playing it in the car, been playing it at the house. It's just a great album. Very excited by it. And I know that this episode will be around for a while, but the band is in the midst of a rare U.S. tour, and I think they're making their first ever appearances in Southern California. I don't know, at least since I've been following the band. So I'm hoping to catch one of those shows and definitely be able to talk about that the next time we feature them on
Absolutely.
an episode.
Absolutely, okay.
And now the next song we're going to hear, and I'll have to look real carefully. So I think we're going to say the Fool I Had Become, a beautiful song, and let's listen to a little bit of that one.
Sure.
I was a fool to give you everything. I was a fool to tell the world. I just assumed I was the only one. The fool I had become.
And I got to sit and read the lyrics during that, and definitely my enjoyment. I was enjoying the music, but I enjoyed it even more when I had the lyrics in front of me because I think it just really added more dimension to it. I love that chorus, beautiful chorus.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah, and I think this song is a perfect illustration. Like on the surface, it's very beautiful. It's melodic. It's well sung and all that. The Fool I Had Become, is a good catchphrase and stuff too. But you really hear him sing, and it's like you feel the emotion, like he had been played for a fool and stuff like that. And I think those real world emotions, inject themselves in the song really well. I think that, like I said, I think that's why it's not just these simple throwaway lyrics and simple, the approach is very intense and stuff, even though the songs can be melodic and beautiful and stuff. And I think that maybe that's part of where the power lies on this music.
I think you can almost be fooled by how smooth the melodies are, to where the lyrics, if you're listening to it casually, kind of fly past you. You don't really, until you sit there with them in front of you, you don't really realize, this is, wow, yeah, I relate to this really well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's almost deceptive.
Yeah.
Because the melodies are so strong. If you're not careful, you will miss how good the lyrics are.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sign of a great band. I mean, that they can do things on so many levels, and I think that's a lot of the music we try to bring to the show too. The bands the artists that really take it up a notch.
Yeah.
They're really offering something special. Not everything has been done in music. There's always something new to discover.
Yeah, I'm
definitely.
glad, and I'm very glad.
Now, speaking of that, what did you bring in today?
Well, speaking of artists taking it up another notch, I have the second album here by Lianne La Havas. It's entitled Blood. And, her first album, I was knocked out by, Is Your Love Big Enough? It was a tremendous debut, and she really did push things up a notch. I mean, to describe her, I would say, and I probably said this the last time, I'll say it this time, R&B, but with a very strong jazz fusion influence. And also a strong acoustic guitar presence, because she does play guitar. But there was kind of there was a uniqueness to that first album. There was a sense of rawness to it. There was a sense of quirkiness to it that you didn't know what to expect from her from song to song. Now, with this album, I will say that she has brought it up another notch. And what's interesting, she's brought it up another notch by actually trying to be a little more commercial. And sometimes being commercial is looked down upon. Sometimes it gets a bad word, because I think sometimes when we say someone is being commercial, they're being calculated or pandering. This album is not calculated. This album is not pandering. Her sense of experimental is still very much there. What makes it more commercial is there's a tighter structure to the songs, tighter structure to the choruses, and of course there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, she's definitely, I think, brought it up another notch with this album. I'm going to play for you, first of all, the opening track, which is called Unstoppable. This is the one I believe the label is saying is the single. Single. I personally don't think it should be the single. I'm going to play that song after the break.
Okay.
But first we will play what the label feels is the single. And I'm going to play it because it's a great song. It's still a great song. I just don't think it should be the single. And let's check out a little bit of Unstoppable. Here we go.
Spinning away, almost lost forever and leaving no trace, floating through the darkest reaches of space to another galaxy. Our polarity shifted around, there's nothing else left holding us down, and it's just gravitational. We are unstoppable.
What really impresses me about Unstoppable, I mean, she has a great voice, but you hear jazz in there, and then there's like a symphonic build. I mean, there's a lot going on in the music. It's very interesting. So, I mean, if you're casually listening, you're going to hear a voice and just the lyrics and stuff. But there's a lot going on in the production, and it really works well. It you know, for the genre, it's very deep. You know, and like I said, that's after a single listen. I heard all that.
I'm glad you were paying attention. I love the slow, like you said, that slow, I don't want to say orchestral, but instrumental build.
Yeah, it's
and
very dynamic.
It does come off as orchestral, even though it's not orchestral instruments. It comes off as orchestral. And there's a strong jazz influence, and there's a tremendous amount of subtle textures all throughout the album. As you listen to each song, it really warrants listening with headphones, so you can just catch all those textures. And I'm not hearing, it's good to hear that again. Where it used to be, I think there was a lot more music back in the day that was designed more for headphones.
Right, definitely.
A lot of textures you could hear much better when you put the headphones on. So it's good to hear that with this. And packaging-wise, this comes in a mini vinyl gatefold. It's a beautiful cover. It's a photo of her, but I think just the whole color scheme that's been done with the plants and everything, it comes off very beautiful. Here's the back here with this sort of marble background, which is, of course, then continued here on the interior, once again with the flowers. And then even then, when you actually pull out the booklet here, it continues that whole, once again, that whole marble wall theme. Now, the only complaint I have is, while all the lyrics are included, they're extremely small and very hard to read. The actual print color is very hard to read against this marble backdrop. Very difficult to read. That's my only real complaint. There's pictures, of course, and then credits. And I did read through a lot of the credits, and I tried my best to read lyrics as I was listening. A lot of very interesting lyrics. I liked her lyrics in the last album. While, once again, if you listen to it casually, a lot of it's going to fly past you. But then when you really pay attention to it, it's like, there are moments you're like, what is exactly, on some of these songs, not this one necessarily, but on some of the songs, what exactly is she saying here? You know, and I love the fact that it makes me wonder and makes me think. And of course, like anything, when you have lyrics like that, it's open to interpretation. I'm sure she has her interpretation, but it's more what you take out of it when you're listening to it. What your interpretation is, I think, is what you eventually come away with. Is what you. I think if I don't know, I can't speak for her, but I would think that, like most artists, they tend to say, well, yeah, I have my own interpretation, but really, what you come away with it from how you read into it is what it means to you and what's most important to you. And anyway, so we're going to listen to another track that I really, really like off this album. It's kind of what I refer to as the not typical of the rest of the album track. And it's called What You Don't Do. I really love just the whole playful element of this track. I really think this song should have been the single. Here we go.
I know what I got and I know where we're going. You don't need to show it, I already know it all. It's what you don't do, it's what you don't say. It's what you don't do. I know you love me, I don't need proof. It's what you don't do, the games you don't play. It's what you don't do. Oh, I know you love me, I don't.
You know, again, this is my first listen. I really like that. I'm hearing jazz, I'm hearing like 50s, and I'm hearing great R&B and soul in there. I'm hearing a lot just at first, and I know I need to delve in and listen to this album. It just, you know, she sounds terrific, and it's whatever's going on with the production, it just really fits a song and fits her very well.
I love the way how in the opening the organ kind of fades in and out at the beginning. It's very unusual, almost. Under normal circumstances, that would be considered annoying, but it works really well with this track. It's an unusual choice. That's what I like. Even though this song has a lot of familiarity, like you said, early 50s, Motown.
Motown.
There are choices, musical textural choices that make it different and out of the ordinary as well. But mostly, I like the really playful tone of this song, which makes it atypical for the rest of the album. She's having more of a good time with the song. The lyrics are very literal. There's no other meanings you're going to get from it. I love the nice little clever play on words, as opposed to what you do, it's what you don't do that tells me that you love me. It's because you don't play all these games, because you don't do these things that other people do. It's what you don't do. Thank you so much for bringing Pugwash.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing more of that album myself.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody to check out the latest album by Lianne La Havas.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I'm very impressed by what I've heard.
And we want to thank you very much for watching and for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Okay.
Stereo.
Anyways, yes, we don't want to be too scary.
No, that's true.
But we want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing the show on social media. We appreciate it. And my name's TJR. You can check out my music at tjrmusic.com. I have my own YouTube channel, which is TJR The Original. I'll have links here for you. And also my solo reviews here at the channel. And where can our viewers find out more
How
about
much
you?
time do we have? Not
Please,
enough.
go ahead.
Okay, you can check out my stuff at musicworthbuying.com, at ocregister.com, musicnewsnashville.com, and of course at desertstarweekly.com.
Right on.
And if that's not enough, I'm sure you can find me somewhere else too. I'm
Yeah.
out there.
He's out there. You can find him at restaurants. He's at Starbucks quite
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
You know, and he does bar mitzvahs and weddings.
Yeah, so you can find me.
Yeah, somewhere. Anyways, so thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.
All right, bye.